Hey YouTube, what's happening? Alright, I want to show you guys one of the last major things that I'm going to do to this van prior to this trip, unless I think of something else. But I've decided to move my solar panel outside the van for storage and transportation, and I'm putting it on top of that box. So here's what it looks like. I know I talked about this and then I said I wasn't going to do it, but I got to thinking and I made a list. I'll go over the list here shortly with you. Pros and cons, and the main reason why I decided to do this. But it's fairly simple. It's real similar, if not identical, to what I did to mount these on top of my fifth wheel camper. But I've made 4 brackets and bolted them to the top of the lid of this container. So what I'm going to end up doing is putting I think they're called the hitch pin, where you have a pin that comes through there with a hole on the end of it and then a spring clip that locks it in place, and I'll put 4 of those on here to secure it when I'm going down the road. I'm going to buy one of those cable locks, and I'll probably end up going through 1 or 2 of these holes with the cable over the box. And maybe if I put a lock on here, maybe I'll string it through the lock. Sorry, there's lawn mowers and weed trimming going on in the background. I hope it's not making it so you can't hear me, but I can't control that. Anyway, put a lock on here and it'll come through the ring of the lock, and then I can go up over the bar, through over that bar and down, and do the same thing on that side. But it's going to be secure enough to where it's going to deter the random passerby that says, hey, look at that, a solar panel, I'd like to have that, and just take it and walk away. That's not going to be possible. I just run the cables, and right now I just have them temporarily hooked up with the door open. Now I haven't tried it yet, but I'm pretty sure I can close this door. I looked at the seal at the bottom and I think I could close that without doing any damage, and that's maybe how I'm gonna do it. I'm still thinking about potentially running cables through the floor, drill a 3/8 inch hole or something and pass, or a 1/2 inch hole and pass both cables through so they come out underneath the bumper, and then zip tie them to the hitch pin or something. I don't know exactly how I'm going to go about that yet. And then of course this is going to have a locking receiver pin in there so that the whole apparatus will be locked to the hitch. I probably just need a few hours a day of sun to replenish the power that I'm going to be pulling out of the battery, so that'll be pretty decent, and I think it'll work out fine. Right now, well, the sun is starting to peek out. Let's look and see what the battery is sitting at. 13.7 as it sits right there, with partial sun, and it's definitely not direct, so it's going to be effective. My intentions on this trip are to camp and park, and I want to do as much hiking as I can. And of course, when I'm hiking, I'm not with the van. But in this setup, I can leave it plugged in, and that's most likely to be the hottest part of the day, is of course when the sun is up. It can actually be charging the battery and supplying power to the refrigerator when it's running for the majority of its time. Some cons to that is that the battery is going to be off-gassing when the vehicle is closed up. That's basically the theory. So potentially an hour of the day, the charger is going to bring the voltage to the point where it could be off-gassing. And I could have it locked up and be out hiking around. But I mean, I'm going to have the side windows cracked a little bit. The second pro that I wrote down, it's easily removable and it's still functional as a portable solar panel. So I could pull those 4 pins and pull the panel out here and set it in the sun and position it with the angle and all that stuff to optimize my solar, just like I would have been doing before, and be able to handle that without any problems. I put, as far as a con on that, it does take away table space, because I was going to use that storage container as a table, or a portable table, which I can still do the way I have it set now with the removable pins. I'm just going to have those 4 brackets bolted to the top of the lid, so that does kind of limit the use of that space a little bit. A pro is the solar panel is going to be real easy to access and clean. And the last pro that I wrote down is I don't have any extra holes or wires on top of the van, and I didn't have to get a roof rack or build one or buy one. They're extremely expensive. I probably would have come up with an idea to build one, but I'm running out of time to get this completed, so I don't have to worry about that now. And with it being on the back like that, my thought is, you know, I don't have a roof rack and I won't have anything up on top of the van. The aerodynamics of it, I don't think it's going to affect the mileage or the performance or anything of the vehicle when I'm going down the road. It's just nice and clean up on top here. In addition to the cable is not going to be what's holding this to the rack. I'm going to still use 2 ratchet straps. Anyway, that's my idea, guys, and that's how I'm going to go with it on this trip. I mean, if you guys have any more pros or cons, or something that I just totally missed with this video, throw them down in the comments section. I'd be happy to hear them. And a lot of times you guys come up with things that never even crossed my mind. So I hope you guys are all having a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.